Welcome again back to the network. I was just fumbling around today and I thought I'd come up with something that I wanted to talk about. And this is, it's totally different. It is totally different from what we're used to seeing and talking about on a daily basis. And if you've watched the news lately, you kind of seen where I'm going with this little short part that I want to put online. There was a young 14-year-old boy killed in South Carolina recently. He was ran down the street by two, maybe three Chinese individuals from a shell station, thinking that the boy had stole water, which he had not. And he murdered that young man. The Chinese man did. The kid was black. And he was acquitted in court a few days ago. And the more I think about it, the more upset it makes me, because it's almost like we see these atrocities happening to our people every day. We see these atrocities happen to our people every day, and we go along like business as usual. And it's not business as usual, my friend. This is not about the show. It's not about the introduction. It's about how our people are perceived in a culture that resents us to the core. They resent the success of Black people. They resent the existence of Black people. They resent the diversity of Black people. They resent the history of Black people in America. Do you see what's actually going on out here? And if you do see what's going on out here, do you feel anything about what's going on out here? Because I feel an awful lot about what's going on out here in America. And I'm just so blessed and glad that I don't have children having to go through what's being offered out here today. And forgive me if I seem a little distracted, a little out of it, because this is some stuff that, you see it every day, but are you willing to let yourself understand that this stuff is affecting you and your family? It has taken 250 years for the power of them to reach the level of Trump. They put us to sleep with little accomplishments over the last 250 years. Now, the Fifth Amendment gives everybody the right to be free and to be a man in America, except for Black people. So why would they come out with the Civil Rights Act of 1866? That's just one right, one part. I mean, if you're interested in making this country whole and giving everybody a fair chance, why do you feel that the Constitution does not tell you that you're a free and citizen, willing, capable of doing what anybody else do in America? You've been limited to do nothing with nothing, and you become comfortable doing nothing with nothing. And I mean, I don't want to be on here whining about not owning anything in a culture, but we depend on everybody else's culture to survive, and they depend on everybody on our culture to survive. They feed on us like leeches. We supply 100% of the money to all these beauty stores and these hair stores. If you ever notice on the beauty supply stores all over the country, there's only black women on the windows. We feed them billions of dollars a year. We feed them billions of dollars a year, all to obtain the look of them. That I mean, you go in these places, it's amazing how much hair they have on the walls. And it's amazing how black people have become so expert, so much of an expert in processing this hair that could have came off of an evil demon's head. You never know where it came from. And then you put it in your hair and you expect to operate as usual, as your normal self. You can't keep doing that. And then when you see a young man that's 14 years old executed by two Chinese people and then becomes acquitted after they go to court when they killed this boy for no reason. He had nothing. He didn't steal anything. A beautiful up and coming young black boy that could have been my son. Could have been your son. Could have been your neighbor's son. And he was assassinated outside of this Chinese store because they thought he took water over a bottle of water. So your life, the life of a black person is now reduced to the level of a bottle of water. Let that sink in. I only ask that you that listen to my show and look at my show, you begin to pay attention where you spend your dollar. Because if you continue to spend your dollar at these places that don't want you, they just want your money. And is it you the fool, or you boo-boo the fool, or are they boo-boo the fool? They know exactly what they want. They want your dollar. You want the little trinket and merchandise that they sell in there, like whatever it is you may buy. But every single time I have to go in one of those stores, and I have to, just like you do, you have to go into these stores. But you should limit. I get the most disgusting feeling being inside that store. I just feel like I'm in the wrong place, 100% the wrong place. You don't feel that when you go inside these stores and all you see is Orientals, or so, not against Orientals, but because they're the Orientals and they run that market. You don't feel that? Do you enjoy spending your money with them every time you go in there? You need to stop. Stop spending your money with these people. They don't like you. They want your money and they don't give a damn about you. Come on, brothers. Come on, sisters. Stop spending your money in these places. If the USA had any intentions in being fair toward Black Americans, African Americans, which is not real people, and that's how they look at it. In China, they just created this doll. It's like a one of these little squongy dolls that you put in your hand and squeeze, just a stress relief. They got a doll that'll stretch. And the Chinese people buy these dolls and they beat these dolls and they do all the dirty things that you can do to a human with these dolls. And they have their own special networks where they go to China. I mean, the Chinese go into Africa and they film these indigenous Africans and they abuse the kids. These same people in your community in these stores are the ones who watch this type of stuff and enjoy watching the demise of African children. And you allow this, and you still support these people. They may be, can they just take a shit on your front porch and you'll still support them? I don't know what to say about our folks when we have no self-dignity, no self-worth, no self-respect to the level where we are not going to be disgraced to that level. Stop allowing yourself to be degraded to that level. And the way you do that is to stop spending your money at these places. Damn, I can't say this hard enough. If the USA had any intentions on giving you the rights and lights and benefits that you're supposed to receive, then they wouldn't be coming up with the Civil Rights Act of 1866, the Civil Rights Act of 1871, which is the Ku Klux Klan Act, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and again, the Civil Rights Act of 1968. What the hell is going on? Why all these acts for our benefit when we're a citizen just like everybody else? But we're the only citizen in the whole country that don't own a network of revenue in this country. And we don't own it because we're too busy spending our money with them. Wake up, people. Wake up. They even came up with the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act. But Emmett Till had to die in Money, Mississippi for you to come up with the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act, and you just got that passed. The lady that made the statement that Emmett Till had did her wrong. I found this out recently, and this is so disturbing. She was employed by, and I want the people in Indianola, Mississippi, Inverness, Mississippi, Morehead, Mississippi, Belzoni, Greenwood, Greenville, Mississippi, all those little towns around that Indianola, Mississippi, recognize that she, the lady who accused Emmett Till, worked in Abraham's department store on Main Street in Indianola, Mississippi for 30 years. And I am guilty of shopping there. I want to puke because I spent money there. And she could have possibly been the woman waiting on me. The very woman who lied about Emmett Till. And when she gets 88 years old, she finally decides to tell the truth. And nobody does a thing. Why? Because Emmett Till, her husband's great nephew became the governor of Mississippi. She worked in Abraham's department store, which used to be the old movie theater on Main Street in Indianola, Mississippi. That's not all. Down the street on George Street in Inverness, Mississippi, is Bell Manufacturer. Now, all of this is about history. Bell Manufacturer hired Bryant, the guy who killed, the actual guy who killed Emmett Till and was acquitted in court, got hired by Bell Manufacturer, which is approximately 160 feet from where I grew up. 160 feet from where I grew up. So while I was growing up, this murderer was working 160 feet away. The murderer of black boys, which I was a black boy at the time, worked 160 feet away. Come on now. Can we just take a moment to step back and say, why have we been gullible for 250 years? We believe that they want to do right by us, and we've been pacified by going to church every Sunday telling us to believe in a higher power, which there is a higher power, and I believe in a higher power, but a higher power will not dictate to me to be submersive to them. And we've allowed ourselves to sit there and think that we are going to be saved and we are going to get our miracles on the other side when we die. And we're stupid enough to believe all that while they get theirs now. You tell me one situation where they went and got theirs after they died, and I give you all of mine. All of it, because you can't. There's no such thing. And how can you be so gullible that you continue to believe that you're going to get yours on the other side when they're going to get theirs right now, when you keep working your butt off, taking your money down to them and giving it to them when you don't have to? And don't think Walmart is your buddy, because it's not. Why are all the toys in the back of Walmart? Why is it next to the rear entrance and exit in the warehouse of the warehouse? Stop. If you go to Walmart to get a loaf of bread, excuse me, you get a loaf of bread and keep it moving. No one deserves to be followed in a store. No one deserves to be chased down the street. No black person, especially. No black person deserves to be shot in the street and unalived over water or anything else. Does black lives really matter? Because if you step back and look at what's happening in this country, you'll see that black lives don't matter. You are the commodity that's expendable. You're an expendable necessity. And as long as you comply and assimilate and do what you told, then you can survive and you can exist in this country. Why do you think all these NBA and NFL players are marrying white women, the black ones? If you think I'm just talking, stand out at the end, where the players enter and exit at any game, and watch who comes in, and you'll see that 7 out of 10 ball players are married to white women. Is there something that they're doing that the black women are not doing? What is wrong with these ball players? Why are they not putting those millions and millions and millions of dollars to use with our people? Why are we allowing grandmas, uncles, dads, mothers? Why are we allowing our children to be sucked up by these white universities and making them shine, just like when Shador and Dion went down to Jackson State, HBCU, which is where they were supposed to be, it blossomed. Over a year or two, it blossomed just because the athleticism of those individuals and the thought process of those individuals coming into that area to make it better. Think of what would happen if all of our upcoming athletes signed with HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. Sign parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, drive your talented youth to an HBCU, not to these white universities, because all they want is the skill set that your child brings. They don't give a damn about your child. They'll still graduate dumb because they're not going to educate his brain. They're going to educate his body. Stop sending your children to these big universities because the name ain't all, it ain't all about the name. It's about what they learn. They need to learn their culture. They need to learn who we are and what we represent on this continent. Woo, it's a sad story when we can be unalived over water and then get acquitted by the court. What kind of court jury would acquit a man for murdering a child? And a Chinese man for that matter. But as soon as somebody starts going upside a Chinese head, the federal government comes out with a law to protect them. But hundreds of years have gone by when we've been murdered in the street. Nobody came up with a law to protect us, but it only took 1 year for them to get their law. And we've been waiting 250 years for us to become real people here in this country. I don't know what we have to do to make it better, but there's no reason a 14-year-old should be getting unalived over a bottle of water and then his accuser being acquitted of murder. Does Black Lives Matter? Or are we like the hogs at the slaughterhouse being shot down and no one held accountable? Slavery didn't do this to us. Slavery didn't make us comfortable. Slavery did not do that. I don't know how to say it's slavery's fault for us being in the condition we're in, but we've had 250 years to correct the status of our people in this country. But when the status of our people does not want, the status quo don't want us to be corrected. They don't want us to be whole. They don't want us to be recognized as equal citizens or better citizens in this country. We're going to continue to suffer from situations like we're dealing with today. We keep spending our money. They know we're going to keep doing. They can do whatever they want to us. We are going to continue to pray to God, continue to spend our money at these stores that can't stand the ground we walk on, can't stand the color of our skin, can't stand the nature of who we are, but we steady give them our money. You walked into a Chinese hair store and you've seen how they look at you, and they sit up on this little stoop like you're the peasant, and you're acting like the peasant. We got to let it go, y'all. Give it up. Stop believing in what they are offering us because they're feeding us a dying pill and we're absorbing it like we love it. Slavery didn't do this to us. It didn't make us comfortable at having no control of anything. Slavery didn't do that to us. We did it to ourselves. We're the ones going around acting as if we are in control, but we ain't in control of nothing. And we can't get in control of nothing without taking a step back and seeing what we're actually doing. Because we've continued this for a long time. And they've continued it for a long time. And they have won. And they are winning. They are beating the black off our blacks. They're beating the black off our backs. Because we are not doing the things that we need to do to progress. We're stagnant. We're stuck in a no controlled environment, and we're going to stay in that environment until we take a step back and stop giving them our money to support their businesses. Look around your community and look at every single store within walking distance or driving distance or wherever you may go every day. See if who owns those stores. If 5 out of 5 of those stores are owned by foreigners, then maybe you're shopping at the wrong place because you have no control. None. We can't continue to do that. We got to commit to oneself and not, we got to stop committing to ourselves and start committing to our community and build our community up. You see how quick they shut down that gas station once they found out that this owner got acquitted? They shut that gas station down overnight. We can do that. Well, why we got to wait for them to kill somebody or wait for them to create an atrocity for us to shut them down? We need to shut them down now. They have no right taking our money out of our community every single day. And you think we're going to get better because of that? We got a church on almost every corner and our communities are going down. And they're going down because of foreigners coming into our communities, taking all the real estate and the sources of everything we need. They don't even want you growing a garden anymore because they want you buying from them. You got to go back to the basics. You know that story. Go back to the basic. When you're losing a game, you go back to your core values. And your core values is growing your own food and not allowing other people to control your life and control your money. We got to stop thinking as individuals. Grow your garden and share with your neighbor. But get into a community that supports what you're talking about. That's what we want to do. Now, it used to be the Black News Network, and we're no longer called the Black News Network. We are the People's Network. And we call ourselves the People's Network because we're no longer focused on Black only. We're focused on people that can use help in moving forward and hearing the news correctly. Because if you're listening to CNN, Fox News, CNBC, all these other news channels are giving you what they want you to have. They're owned by the top 5% of Americans with all the money, and they dictate what the newscasters will report. You don't hear much about the things that are very important. You hear all this nonsense being shoved down your throat. Who wants to know about the Jeffrey Epstein files? What we want to know is, what are they doing about those women who claim that they were molested as children, and who did it? Why can't we get to the bottom of anything when it comes to this presidency? We can't get to the bottom of anything. We got the war with Iran, can't get to the bottom of that. We got the Israel and Palestinians, can't get to the bottom of that. We got Epstein, can't get to the bottom of that. We got him going on a $250 bill, we can't get to the bottom of that. We got him putting his name on the Kennedy Center and all other places in Washington, D.C. We got monuments being built in Donald Trump's recognition. We got soldiers being committed. We got people being fired. We got over 1,000, it was 9,000 some odd people other than men and women, gay folks, removed from active duty military. We got about 5,000 or so removed from the National Guard. We got so many things going on in this country that we don't know what we're in a confused state. And you can imagine what other countries are saying when they look at us. We got a lot of stuff going on over here. But what gave us this level of no guilt? We're not guilty for where we are right now. We don't have any shame about where we are right now, but we should have some guilt. I feel guilty that I can't do more for our culture than what I'm doing. I feel guilty because of that. And I feel shame, but I'm not going to display shame. I feel shame because I see my black sisters going into these hair stores buying all this stuff, and these people hate them. They literally hate them. And if you don't believe me, look at some of the Chinese recordings that they do in Africa, how they abuse the children over there. It's so bad that they have their own networks of abusing children. Like we go to TikTok and see different things. They got their TikTok, what they call it, nigga talk, some shit, something like that. We got no guilt, no shame about our condition. We got to get better. And that's where we are, my friends. And I wanted to say it's been 250 years and we're still a separate race of people, but we need to do better. We're not welcome here, but we're not leaving here. And we're going to have to do something to make us better. And then the only thing, and everybody keeps talking, unity is the key, but it's bigger than unity. You know, it's two things that we have to worry about. We got to worry about staying well, and we got to worry about whether we're sick. So if you're staying well, you got nothing to worry about. But if you're slightly sick or your health is bothering you, you're going to have two things to worry about. You're going to have to worry about getting well. And if you do get well, you got nothing to worry about. But if you don't get well, you're going to have two things that you got to worry about. Those two things you got to worry about is whether it's a chronic illness that you have that you can live with, or is it a sickness that's going to cause you to pass over to the other side? So if it's a chronic sickness that they can treat with medication, then you got nothing to worry about. But if it's a chronic situation that you're going to die from, you got two things to worry about. You got assets that you're going to have to get in order, and you're going to have to worry about what happens after you're passed. Do you have a plan? So if your assets are all in order, you got nothing to worry about. But if your assets are not in order and you're on the last leg, you got two things to worry about. Now I could go on and on and on with these two things to worry about, but if you start to prospect your life into two categories, whether it's good or bad, if it's always good, you got nothing to worry about. If it's not, you got two things to worry about: how to make it good, or how to let it stay bad. Just remember, we're not welcome here, but we're not leaving. And we got to make our way in this country. And if there's a day that comes up where I don't have to see a young black kid being murdered in the street and a family suffering and grieving because a Chinese got acquitted for killing a kid in the street. Now, if you notice, there have been I know of at least 3 Chinese shootings where they shot a kid in a store. 3 that I can recall in history, that in my history, is probably more, but that's all I know of. They don't like us, but they depend on us for their livelihood. And all I ask you to do is to be wary of where you spend your money and stop spending it with them, because those beauty stores, those corner stores are owned by them. The hotel industry, about 80%, the Mandamis out of the New York governor or mayor, they own those hotels. His family owns about 80% of the hotels in the country, the cheaper motels, not the Hiltons or the Marriotts, not that stuff. So, what I'm saying to you, my friend, I'm your worthy brother, War Smith-Bey, broadcasting live this Sunday at 5 o'clock, bringing you the news from a Moor's perspective. We're no longer black and we're no longer African American. That's not a real nationality. And I can preach this till the cows come home, but many people will not look into it and see that you have no status as a African American. You have no status as a black. You have no status as a colored person. You have no status as a Negro. Once you realize that you have no status as any one of those people, then you'll see the reality of having a nationality. When you know all the other people got that, Chinese got nationality. Why would a Chinese go to jail over killing somebody that doesn't have a nationality? That's how this is how the psyche of this country and the world works. If we don't get out of our own way and start looking at the world view and how the world looks at what's happening here, then we're doomed. We got to come up from where we are and quit expecting America to do right by us, because they're not. They're not going to do right by us because we won't do right by ourselves. We got to unify. We got to talk. We got to communicate. And we got to come together with where we need to be going here in America. And the first step, the very first step, is to control your spending. Stop spending your money in these places. Run them out of your community. Boycott those facilities. I don't know how far we can go. We're not going to make it. We're going to continue to be marginalized. How can we be at 12.4 million people for the last 50 years? We're not growing. And when our population starts to move forward, what happens? We get more people getting murdered. We get more people disappearing. What happened to that big wall of missing kids in Walmart? What happened to that? This is in every Walmart. And every Walmart doesn't have the same pictures. So it's a lot of kids coming up missing. A lot of them are black. And we're not really doing anything about it because we're not finding those kids. I'd like you to subscribe, and donate to the War Report using Zelle, 210-872-2261. And I will be back on Sunday at 5 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining me today. I just wanted to give you a preliminary view of what we're going to be talking about this weekend. Have a nice day today and a better day tomorrow.